Hey guys, this is The Pick,
Welcome.
and this is going to be our Monday show, obviously. We're going to do a little recap of college football, week 1 or 2, what you want to consider it.
Right.
So we're going to get into games right now. First game is Washington and Rutgers. We both watched this game, and hey, Rutgers kind of stayed around a little bit, and they gave some big hits on Jake Browning. That one hit was
My
monster
God,
hit.
man.
Yeah, Washington is a better team, and they just prevailed. How do you feel about that game, Ryan?
Yeah, Rutgers kind of kept it close for, like I said, it kind of felt like the Ohio State Roma was in there with those games. You know, there was a lot of times that they just were making a lot of silly mistakes, and Rutgers was staying in the game. And yeah, I have to comment on that hit as well, man. Oh my gosh, like I thought he was gonna actually get knocked out of the game.
Yeah.
Because he got hit so hard, dude. I was like, yeah, he's gonna be out. But I have to commend him. He ended up staying in the game and being okay, which is great too. And yeah, after that, man, they found that second half and took off and had a pretty decent game. So yeah, like I said, it looked like it maybe end up being an upset, but no, they end up figuring their offense out. Defense got enough stops, and yeah, they end up winning that game. So
I noticed that a lot of these really good teams that are playing very average, terrible teams, they had these rough starts and had to knock the rust off.
yeah, a little rusty. And good point I heard about that is you got young cats going on the road because you got to understand Ohio State was on the road. They were on the road.
Yeah.
I believe the other top team was on the road that kind of struggled. Yeah, you know, you got to put that in consideration. You got young kids going on the road, jitters. You know, you got the home crowd, you got the other crowd against you. So I can understand that. But yeah, they end up finding their wits about them and end up playing well.
All right, and next game is going to be Texas and Maryland.
Oof.
Oh, he's right.
Wow.
Just Texas just has a lot of rebuilding to go, and they just didn't give a great effort, but they didn't give up, which is promising.
Right.
I think that's one of the things I noticed about the Charlie Strong regime is they gave up and they just got stomped on. But they didn't give up. It was only a 10-point loss. Maryland's season looking a little promising. I mean, they have a really rough schedule, so it's going to be kind of tough for them. But hey, maybe they can get to a ball game and they prevail on some of these games. Maybe they get a good ball game.
Right. Yeah, man. It just seems like Texas was kind of backtracking right now. Everybody was thinking maybe they'll come out and have a good season and that, but that defense was so bad, man. Letting that Maryland running back just run all over him. He had he had over 130 yards. And a touchdown only on 12 carries. You know, that's
crazy.
That's not good
That's
at
not
all.
good,
That's bad defense.
I mean, yeah, you can. We're OU fans, so we love trolling Texas, but we want them to get better. I mean, it's,
well, I was gonna say to add to that, their offense didn't play too bad. They didn't play too bad, but that defense just, oh God, just awful. Like you cannot play like that in a Big 12 conference. You will get smashed.
yeah.
So, because that's what Big 12 knows how to do is score, and your defense can't stop nobody. Yeah. It's gonna be a like that's what I'm saying. You're gonna give 51 points up to Maryland. Come on.
Right quick, let's talk about Baylor losing to Liberty. We didn't watch the game, but they're just that's disgraceful.
Talking about taking 5-6 steps back, man.
Yeah.
Like it's like kind of what you said on the phone to me yesterday. They're kind of going back to that, looking like they're going back to that team we kind of used to know.
The doormat team.
Yeah, the doormat team that nobody really give a crap about. Like that sucks to say because that program was looking promising.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you let your players do terrible things.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna go to the Florida-Michigan games. One of the oddest games I've ever watched.
Right, there were so many like twists and turns in that game.
Just weird turnovers, weird plays, but Michigan looked really dominant at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
but then their quarterback kept on throwing interceptions and allowing Florida to be in it.
Yeah.
But they fought back and took charge again. Both teams have shot themselves in the foot, though. Like I said previously, turnovers and this weird play as a quarterback for Michigan throws one of the weird Eli Manning passes.
Right.
It was pretty weird. But Michigan looked like they're a pretty good team. The defense still looked great. Florida has a lot of work to do.
Yeah. They Michigan, they had, like he said, they had a funky game. Like at times they looked really good. They were making their offensive plays, they're making their defensive plays, and then at times it seems like on both sides of their ball they just were making weird mistakes and stuff. And I was like, all right, well, are y'all getting too hype in this game or what's going on? And Florida, it just seemed like they didn't really find their wits at all in this game. At times they did, but a lot of the games they were struggling to get down the field.
I think Michigan got to find themselves a quality quarterback before they can actually realistically
if they really want to compete. Yeah,
because I just don't think he's the answer.
Yeah, he at times he looked like he was bouncing around too much. And,
he just
there's
not a good enough quarterback for them to realistically win a championship.
I agree.
So we're gonna go to OU UTEP game. OU is one of the best offenses in the country. Outside of a bad drive on defense, they had a flawless performance. Baker looked like, outside of Rosen, which we'll talk about later, the Heisman contending front runner.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that game?
I love that game. I love how we played, and especially Baker and the offense, they played exactly how they needed to. Defense, of course, did their job, and what's crazy is Baker only missed one pass the whole game. That's not. I understand that's UTEP, but at the same time, that's not easy to do in any game.
Yeah.
And almost 330 yards and 3 touchdowns, and also a point. I don't know if you know this, but what's crazy is also our backup. He ended up only missing a pass. He was like 11.
Wow.
He was like 11 for 10 or something like that, or 10 for 11 or something like that. Yeah, he only missing one pass as well. So I was like, whoa, our quarterbacks had a heyday.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, man, that was just a game me and this guy expected. We expected them to do their job, and they did it, and plus some.
Okay, we're going to talk about the USC West Michigan game. So,
that was another interesting game.
Yeah. West Michigan definitely came to play early. They're a lot better team than I thought they'd be.
Right?
SC looked really rusty at the beginning of the game. Sam Darnold, he got hit a lot in the beginning of the game. And he looked rusty and missing some passes. Granted, a lot of passes were dropped. He didn't look the best the whole game, but he had his team win the game. SC's defense was getting ran over the first half, and they just kind of tied it up in the second half. But they got to play better when you get to a bigger game. But just like we talked about the other games, I mean, they're going to struggle at the beginning of the season.
Right.
So.
And dude, I got to give big credit for Western Michigan how they fought. Yeah. They really did, man. They fought, and they wasn't going to give up in this game, and you could show it. They gave up 31 points to them, and they did, they did trick plays, but that's the thing about those teams. There's a lot of teams, or there's a lot of players on that team that are not as big or not as strong as players on USC, so they got to do some trick plays, and you know what I'm saying? They fought hard, and I respect that, because it kind of looked for a while they might end up upsetting them.
Yeah, and I thought that they had a chance. And
their running back Jones the second, man, went off. He had almost 160 yards for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, he had a strange game in a way too. He didn't play too bad, but he didn't play great either. No touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yeah.
So, and the receiver Burnett, man, he went off too. 7 receptions, 142 yards. So they had a good game, but also that Sam Darnold could have played better, and that offensive line could have protected him a little better as well.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. I like that game. Okay, it might look like a runaway, but it ended up being a good game.
Yeah. I mean, SC is one of those teams that they definitely are a title contender. They just got to play better.
Right.
Sam Darnold, he had some happy feet at times in the pocket, I noticed, but he made some plays as well, especially in the fourth quarter, which is one of the things that he's going to be drafted high about, is he has got that kind of it factor. You need to play, he's going to get it. So I think SC could have ran the ball a little more. And just the talent, they're just more talented, and usually the more talented team's going to win the game.
And see, I'm gonna add on to that. Like, that's the funny part is they're running more. That's crazy because their running back almost had 160, and honestly, I agree. He only had 12 carries, or he had 12 carries or 14 carries. He should at least had 20 to at least 25 in that game.
More than he had. So we're gonna go to a break right quick, and we'll be right back. Thank you guys for coming back. We're going to talk about the South Carolina, North Carolina State game. I didn't really watch a whole lot of this game, but Ryan did, so he's going to take it off and talk more about it. And I'll come back and talk about the ending because I watched the ending.
Yeah, man. What's crazy is both of these quarterbacks for both teams look really good. Bentley for South Carolina, he looked good, and North Carolina State, their quarterback Finley, he looked really well as well. He had a little more pressure, getting a little more pressure than that game than Bentley did, but he stuck in there and played well too. And man, that was a wild game. That was a lot of back and forth. They'll make plays, then somebody gets stopped, but then they'll end up getting the ball back and making a play, come back and making the game close. So that was a very interesting game. Both defenses kind of struggled against both offenses, so it was a lot of offense in that game. So if you love those type of games, that was one of the games you need to go watch, go replay and go watch, because there's a lot of scoring. And there's this one really dope, interesting play that Bentley made. He, like I said, he was about to get tackled, and he runs out and he throws like an Aaron Rodgers, like off the 1 foot, and their receiver ended up catching one-handed. It just looked beautiful. It was an awesome play. So. Yeah, that was a dope game. I really liked that game.
All right. I'm going to talk about the ending, though, because I watched the ending. South Carolina held them, and North Carolina made it interesting. They were in the end zone, but they couldn't convert, and they couldn't tie the game. I was kind of hoping it might go to overtime, but it didn't. But South Carolina might have themselves a decent season. Maybe not. I didn't watch enough of the game to be honest to give a quite honest opinion, but it was nice.
And what is interesting about that is NC State is actually supposed to, be on the rise.
Yeah, I was hearing that the whole preseason.
And South Carolina just supposed to been we do kind of up in there. They got Muschamp as their coach now, so they didn't know what to expect out of that team really. Neither did we, and they ended up taking the test in the first game and kicking some butt. So
they did.
That was an interesting game.
Okay, we're going to talk about the Bama and Florida State game.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so very close at the beginning of the game. A lot of hard-hitting. I was like, oh, man, I want to play in this game. That would be horrible. A lot of really good defense. A lot of stuff in the run.
Yeah.
A lot of not running, getting hit. Francois got killed in a lot of that game. Unfortunately, ended up getting hurt. Alabama is one of those teams. It's like a pro team. Like they have a really good special teams, and if you make mistakes, especially with really good teams like Alabama, they're going to capitalize.
Yeah.
And it just felt like an avalanche for Florida State. One mistake happened, another mistake, and just everything just fell apart. And you can't do that against Alabama and really great teams like that.
Lose the game.
So how do you feel about it?
Yeah, man. I ended up hitting him up in the middle of the game and texting him, and I was like, man, if they don't help cover Francois, he's taking too many shots. Yeah. And I had that in my head. I was like, if he takes any more of these shots like that, he might get hurt. And unfortunately, it happened. And man, after that, it just fell apart. He ended up throwing picks, and then the injury, and then after that, it was just we all kind of knew, and everybody in the stadium kind of knew it's going to be Bama's ball game. And Bama defense was just nasty as hell. I do have to give credit to the Florida State defense for quite of the game. They were making some good stops
They
and
did.
doing their job. But yeah, just Bama's the biggest points were Bama's special teams and Bama's defense. And God, they kind of made that's how they kind of made the game happen. That's how they won. Offense did their job. They didn't play too great, but those special teams and defense just made the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to eat some crow now. Florida State, I had them for winning the title. I don't know if that's gonna happen now. I mean, you never know. But quarterback's hurt for a season.
Yeah.
And they look good, but not great against one of the best teams in the nation. So maybe it's not happening. I did eat some crow for the Wyoming game. We'll talk about that for a second. Oh man, I don't know if y'all watched it or not, but their punter missed the kick, and it was pretty funny.
Man, I'll tell you what, like I was telling him, that makes my day. If I want to go laugh, I'll watch that. Like, I feel bad for the dude at the same time. It was just funny as hell. You got one job to do, man, punt it, and he missed. I don't know if it just the ball slipped out of his hands or just the jitters got to him or what, but it was funny as heck.
My Heisman pick is not looking too great either.
Yeah,
Josh Allen didn't look good.
That was just a rough game.
I'm not going to give up on the pick, but it's not looking very good.
You can't just hang your hat on one game.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the UCLA game in a second, but we're going to talk about the Purdue and
Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville.
Louisville, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
But Jackson, he played really, really well.
Yeah.
He's pretty much back on his Heisman tip, it looks like. Okay. Purdue shocked me though. They ended up playing pretty decent. They ended up scoring 28 on that team, so it wasn't a blowout. Pretty much is what I'm saying. Like they played really well, but it wasn't a blowout. So it was a very interesting game. So what do you think about that game?
I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but Purdue definitely fought for most of the game, and I'm really surprised, to be honest.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't lay down. They actually played pretty good ball.
I didn't watch enough of the game, to be honest, so I can't give a great critique on it. But hey, they stayed in the game. Jackson, I guess, looked really good.
Oh man!
According to him, I didn't really watch it, but
and he ended up rushing for another 100 yards.
Yeah.
Overall he had I think he almost got like 400 passing yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns. He balled the hell out.
And it's just, at Louisville, they gotta sure some things up. They're one of those teams that if they kind of play down to the opponent sometimes, I noticed.
Yeah.
About last year and this year, so that's one of the things that kind of cost them last year. Is they kind of played down to the opponent.
See, to a point of that is honestly sometimes I feel like the rest of the team gets a little too comfortable behind Jackson. Okay. Because that offense, they can score, they can run up the board, and I feel like the defense sometimes gets a little too comfortable with that and lets a lot of scores and stuff slip from them. So yeah,
that's an interesting. It was an interesting game. So
we're
gonna talk about the UCLA game quick. Okay, so
that was nuts.
I definitely fell into the group of turning the game off too early, but I watched it. I watched a lot of it. But I didn't watch all of it because I kind of turned it off when it was getting really bad.
Right.
Okay, they're not going to come back.
Yeah, I ended up watching the Virginia Tech game a little more than that because of that. Because I was like, oh, this looks like a massacre.
Yeah, so I was doing other things. I didn't really watch the Virginia Tech game either. We're going to talk about that in a second. But Josh Rosen, he's special. He was shaky at the beginning of the game, throw some errant passes, but you have to think about it. He doesn't have the greatest team around him.
Right.
So he's going to struggle a little bit at times. Mm-hmm. But he definitely has a hit factor. I mean, I think he's definitely the Heisman front runner right now. A&M, they really played really well at the beginning of the game, ran the ball really well. It was just dominating. I think Kevin Seblin's just going to have to go. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get fired like Lane Kiffin got fired. But this is not looking good for him. It hasn't looked good for him a whole bunch of seasons. They give up leads and they lose games that they definitely shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I like Kevin Sumlin. He was a coordinator for OU, so I always kind of root for him, but it ain't looking good for him right now. He blowing the biggest lead in college football history. It's not looking too good.
Well, I didn't know if you know this, but their starting quarterback ended up getting hurt in the third quarter. And yeah, that's where it went downhill. Is their starting quarterback went down, and I think it was some type of foot injury. Yeah, it was a foot injury, and so the backup came in, and after that, man, I guess that team it deflated, I guess, and man, it ended up getting freaking ugly for them, and we end up getting to see a really good freaking comeback though.
Yeah.
So, man, yeah, Rosen, boy.
He made some really good. The last throw, the fake spike was an amazing throw.
Right.
That interception that should have been. The pass before that, he kind of threw across his body. That would have been an interception in the league. But
I'm gonna say that was the interesting part about him is those last two drives to win the game. He had a lot of great moments, but then also on those drives, well, especially the last drive, the one before that, to get him to 38. He actually had a solid drive completely. Like, he was just getting down the field and they scored a touchdown. But that last one, he got lucky, to be honest with you. Like, there was a lot of throws, and he kept on wanting to hike the ball when his offense wasn't set, which is, I understand, you're focused on so much, but also you need to, be able to calm yourself down and not get those false starts.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of the interesting part about it, is he was playing really well, and then he would just kind of have some bonehead moments. And yeah, that throw, honestly, I didn't like it at all. It was a horrible throw, but ended up, it's that no, yes.
yeah, it worked.
So yeah, and sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty, but yeah, man, Rosen, he ended up playing really well. He had that one, like I said, I didn't really like that throw, but hey, it ended up working. And yeah, man, that was a crazy game. Really looked like it was just gonna be a blowout. And then, like I said, the third quarter, their quarterback got hurt for A&M, and it just went south for them after that, man.
Yeah.
So that was crazy.
It was a great comeback. And,
Man.
it was a really exciting at the beginning of the game. Twitter was going nuts. But hey, Josh Rosen, he might be the #1 pick overall.
Yep.
So we're gonna go to the Virginia Tech and West Virginia game. I watched a little bit of it, but Ryan watched a lot of it, so he can talk about it a little more than I can.
Yeah, I ended up watching a lot of that game. Like I said, I missed quite a bit of the A&M game because it looked like it was just going to end up being a blowout. But yeah, I ended up watching that game. That game was a pretty good contest as well. That was another game where there was a lot of good moments, and then there was a lot of crazy moments where players weren't making the greatest of plays. But yeah, that was a very interesting game. The freshman quarterback for Virginia Tech looked real good. Especially, man, he was running the ball like crazy, man. There was one play where he literally looked like a Vic play. They played read option, and there was a big old hole right down the middle, and he just ended up taking it all the way. And yeah, for a rookie or a freshman to come out and play like that was good.
Yeah, true freshman.
Yeah, true freshman. That was really good. And what was even better is his dad was there, and his dad is he's the son of a coach.
Oh.
So, and they interviewed his dad at the end, and it was great because, he was all shaky and about to, tear up, And I was like, that's just a wonderful moment right there.
Yeah,
you got your dad right there watching you, and not only that, he coached you. That's a very proud moment to be a dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that game. That was another high scoring, close game.
I watched a little bit of it. West Virginia's coach, he's notorious for yelling at refs and going crazy.
I know, right?
Sideline. He actually got flagged for it now, so I guess refs are starting to become NBA refs and tired of getting yelled at. So
Right.
I think it's kind of a little bit ridiculous in my eyes, but I mean, hey, the rules change. But hey, you can't be yelling at refs anymore. I definitely noticed that.
Yeah.
Can't be going crazy running on the field. which I don't
I get
like
it.
actually.
Yeah,
I get that, but I don't want them to become NBA refs and just throw a flag if they hurt their feelings a little bit.
Right.
I'm a little worried about that because NBA, that's one of the things I don't like about them. The refs are kind of wusses.
It just seems like they're a little too sensitive
Yeah.
at times.
They love getting texts out. So we're gonna talk about storylines and key plays, teams that inspired us, surprised us when we come back. All right.
All right, guys, welcome back to the pick. We're gonna talk about that teams that surprised us the most. Go ahead, man. What you think? What teams are on your radar right now?
Well, definitely UCLA coming back from that huge deficit.
Right.
They definitely surprised me. Actually, A&M was the team that surprised me at first, but then they blew the lead.
Right.
So UCLA surprised me. Rosen played great. Second team is Alabama. Not to eat some crow. I thought they were going to lose, but they did not, and they played great.
Yeah.
So, and my third team was Western Michigan. SC, they kept up with them, and definitely surprised me. I thought that was going to be a beatdown, but it wasn't. They definitely fought hard, and some bad breaks went their way, and talent didn't have enough talent either, and that's what happens usually. What are you, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Western Michigan. Man, that is one of the teams that surprised me, and like I said, just their toughness and how they fought back and wasn't gonna just lay down for this team. They could just easily win. All right, they're number 4 in the nation. We're not gonna beat this team. They could easily just lay it down, but they didn't. They ended up fighting and making it actually a decent game out of that. And another team to really surprise me, to be honest, is how well Purdue played against Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, what the hell? That's that team. You're like, oh, this is gonna be probably ass kicking, and no, man, it was a 35-28 game, so they made it a decent game, and there were, even though Jackson went crazy, there were a lot of plays where they're getting pressure on him and getting some sacks, so they might actually be able to do something maybe this season, and
hopefully,
right, that'd be awesome if they can. Shit. And any other teams?
Michigan surprised me.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to win that game, but they played really well. For the most part, the quarterback wasn't playing so bad. They probably would have stomped on Florida.
Maryland is another team that was crazy. Their running back and he a big dude. He was running like crazy. So Maryland's another team that definitely is a shocker.
Yeah, so we're going to go to the best game of the week. And then we're going to talk about our Heisman hopefuls.
Yeah.
So first off, we're going to knock out the best game of the week, which was UCLA for me.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. That UCLA game was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the Super Bowl. It was kind of boring because it was just a blowout. Then everything
all of a sudden
it got exciting.
Yeah.
And it was a great finish. I was talking to Ryan on the phone, off the phone. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe what's going on.
Right.
And it was just like, I felt like, now I'm not comparing Rosen to Tom Brady, but I felt like I was watching Tom Brady in college in a way.
Right.
And I didn't think Rosen was going to lose. He's like, he got the ball last drive. I think he's going to win this game.
I was going to say, it was crazy. Like when I changed it back and they were, about to drive down the field to get that 38-44, and I was, after he made that drive and then was about to drive down there to go down the field to get it by a point, man. I was a UCLA fan for those 2 drives. I was like, go!
Yeah.
So, that was the game of I would say of the first week, man, for me, because that was one hell of a comeback, man.
That's one reason why I love college football.
Yes.
You could never predict what's going to happen.
That's that type of game. You go to it and then you start seeing the UCLA crowd die out because they're leaving. They're like, okay, this is over. And
want to beat the LA.
Yeah, and then those are those games. You're driving home, and then you hear it on the radio. You're like, wait, what's happening? Oh my God, why?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love those type of games.
Yeah, that's why you gotta be a loyal fan and
Yeah,
stick
stick
to
to
it,
it, man, because you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, so speaking of Rosen and the UCLA, we're going to talk about a Heisman, top 3 Heisman contenders right now. And number 1 is Rosen for me. Number 2 is Baker Mayfield, and number 3 is Penn State's running back.
Yep.
He had a great game. I didn't watch the game because it wasn't on TV, but he went nuts. What about you, Ryan? How you feel?
Yep, mine looks the very same. And what's crazy is I want to mention before this week I would have had Sam Donald at Baker Mayfield at number 1.
Yeah.
Sam Donald 2, and then I would have had Browning at like 3.
Okay.
And so yeah, mine is the same as well right now. Rosen, man, stepped up big time. So he's number 1 in my race. Baker Mayfield is number 2 because if he would have played a better opponent, I would probably keep him number 1. But it was UTEP, so
Yeah.
I expected him to do that.
But
so
he definitely has a
he's still there. Like I said, he did his job. He balled out, so he's still there, and he's number 2. And then also my number 3 also is Shaquan, I think that's how you say it. Shaquan Barkley. My goodness, man, he balled out. 14 carries, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like he made the runs look so effortlessly, and he was so fast.
Yeah.
Like this kid is going to be a problem.
Yeah, hopefully he is a problem. And
Yeah, those are
stay
my
healthy and go to the league and tear it up there.
Right.
Definitely interesting performances. A lot of interesting games.
It was a good week 1 overall,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest.
Not too bad.
It was.
Better than I thought it'd be.
It was that perfect. There were comeback games. There were of course blowouts we expected, and then there were games that were shockers like the Maryland game and stuff like that.
And the Duke game was really shocking.
And yeah, and teams that actually stepped up, not necessarily won the game, but they also showed that they can actually be contenders for their conferences and actually make some good teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, this week 1 was pretty decent, man. I liked it.
Alrighty, well this is the pick, guys. This is a recap of our first week of college football.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys have a great thing. Make sure to subscribe and like.
Yeah, and drop some comments, man. We would love to read them, and we appreciate you guys for watching the pick, man.
Alright, this is the pick, guys. Y'all have a good night.
We'll see you on the next one.